What's up, friends? Welcome in. It's time for another episode of Trust the Tape. My name is.
My name is Jeff.
Cavanaugh! That would be Jeff Cavanaugh. And I am seated next to, although not actually next to, but next to on your screen, former Cowboy scout, NFL personnel man, and the greatest drafter of all time, seed 1998, Bryan Broaddus.
Hey, Bri.
What's up, Bri?
Jeffrey, how we doing, sir?
We're doing good. We're going to tell everybody, make sure you're following Crown Global Media on YouTube as well. That's where you can find
Appreciate
Bryan
that.
as well as on 105.3 The Fan, Cowboys.com, all over the place. Cowboys put a whooping on Washington, and we like that. We like that a lot. Now it's time for Jerry Jones to go add 17 players to this team. 17 of them, I do say. But before we even get started, Bryan, I want to interrogate you, and you don't even know that this is coming. I want to interrogate you because I know you know stuff. What's going on with Diggs?
3 different stories.
Oh no!
About what happened.
Oh no!
3 different stories. Not sure which story is really accurate. They're kind of trying to figure things out. I think what they want to do is they want to stand up in front of the media and give his side of the story. So that's kind of where I think within today being a player day off, we didn't get it yesterday. Maybe we'll get it. Diggs, we need to figure out too about the concussion protocol stuff, because as long as he's in that, you're not going to get the story. It's going to be the minute that he comes back that you're going to be able to interview him and stuff like that. So as long as he remains in the concussion protocol, we won't know the story. But just talking to people in the organization, there were a couple that's I'm really not sure what happened. A couple saying there was 3 different stories, trying to figure out which story is the most accurate one. So hopefully Diggs will reappear from the protocol and then give his side of the story, what happened. Evidently, Jerry Jones is very, after he said that the game, and I'm sure you had it on your post game, that he's comfortable with what Diggs' story was. So, but initially there were 3 different stories and they were trying to figure it out.
You could tell us all 3.
I don't know all 3. I don't know all 3.
Okay.
No, I just know there were 3 stories, and they were trying to kind of sort through which one was the most accurate story.
Usually not a good sign when there are multiple stories about what should be a simple incident. That's okay. So we are probably tumbling towards what we thought we were tumbling towards here. Is there a chance the Cowboys could trade Trayvon Diggs if he's not in the protocol, or is the league going to look at him like, yeah, right, you're cutting him after this season? We ain't worried about that. We'll just wait.
Yeah.
Does Diggs have any value in the NFL right now? My guess would be no. Really?
Sure he does. Sure he does. And actually, he's got value to the Dallas Cowboys. The question you have to ask yourself with Diggs is when they are starting to play more man coverage, and I think they did the man coverage stuff out of the fact, if you look at the metrics, and you and I talked about this a little bit last week, and maybe it was Friday when we did our show, of that when you play against Daniels, he is a much better passer against zone coverage than he is man coverage. Got a 49% passer against man coverage. And so after the game, Schottenheimer talked about, hey, it dictated that we needed to play more man in this game. And so that's your work of analytics, marrying it with the tape and saying, okay, yeah, let's work on this. I don't think it was, hey, we really suck at zone coverage and we need to play more man. I think this was more of this. Went out there and said, okay, we've got a guy that really is a very different passer when it comes to man and zone. I think that's why they played nearly 50% zone in that football game. They also could have played a lot of zone because they weren't terrified of they could have played a lot more man because they weren't terrified of the Commanders' wide receivers. They felt like that, hey, we can match up and be okay that way. So, and they did, the blitz of getting James home. Something he's really good at, something he was good at Florida. We saw the sack, the fumble, the recovery, all those things. So, hopefully they learned some things. But I think that game for man coverage was more about the opponent than it was really about, hey, we really haven't been very good in zone coverage. But you're going back with Diggs. I'm of the belief that if Diggs buys in, that you're going to need him. Now maybe Diggs is not happy with the coaches. Maybe he's not happy with his teammates. Maybe he's not happy with the front office.
Maybe he
And
was
maybe
just napping on the couch and he took a little tump and his head hit the coffee
well,
table.
I'm just no, I'm not even gonna talk about that. I'm just saying
Okay.
that he, if he's at a point where he is trying to move on, if that in case, and I don't know all that eternally, when I lived in the building, I sure would have found out. But when I think you're gonna need him. And if he can, and if in fact that there is going to be more to try and play to what he believes is his strength, I would hope that he sits in that, watch that game and thinks, wow, we really do have a really good offense and we can play defense capably. And man, we're starting to play more in man coverage. I like what, I think a lot of it's on him, but I think they're going to need him. I think they're going to need him going forward. So I don't know how, uh, how anxious they are to deal him, but maybe we'll see in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and I think I want to give a shout out to Triquez Bridges because when
Played
I
well.
saw the way that they opted to play this game, and I do think that it is very fair to point out that he was covering the NFL equivalent of me and you. They all
Yeah, well,
were.
I mean,
But
Dallas
I
played.
worried when I saw that
Yeah,
they decided they were going to go with Deron Bland in the slot and they were going to play
sure.
Bridges instead of Reddy Stewart.
Mhm.
I was like, "Uh-oh, I think I know where this team is going to throw this football bunch."
Mm.
And for 1 week, sucker held up. And I'm
No,
terrified of the tall
yeah,
corner. The tall
I
corner
would.
scares me.
I was worried more about them running the football against you. The first play, they run it for about 8 yards, and you're like going, "Oh, damn, here we go again." And, I was more concerned about how Dallas was gonna play run defense after what happened to him the week before against Carolina, where they physically got beat up front. They didn't fit very well in the runs. They didn't tackle particularly well. I'd say that's a pretty good the Commanders came into the game. I felt like the Commanders had a better running game than what Carolina had. And so, for Dallas to, Dallas, the court, they got a couple of quarterback runs popped on them, that's going to be just, you know, right place, right time, catching them. They caught you. Sometimes they make a good play. Sometimes you make a bad play. But overall, if you told me that they were going to hold Krosky Merritt to about 3 yards a carry in this football game, I would say there's a pretty damn good chance they were going to win. So, but hey, listen, nobody feels sorry for you, Jeff. You know this in this league, man. Dallas played without 4 offensive linemen the other day, and won a game, scored points, won a game. You gotta go out and play, man. You just gotta go out and do the best you can to minimize any kinds of problems you might have during the game.
What did you think was the biggest difference in the ability of the Cowboys to stop the run for 1 week?
Fits were really good, and there were a couple of times where they run blitzed and actually had a penetrator and then a fill and then a fill, and so when Dallas decides now there was times where all of a sudden Sam Williams went on an inside charge like the old Tank Lawrence days, and you were out Tank with just gut feel of like, hey, I have a feeling the ball is about to go away from me, and he just charge inside and make it a -2 for a tackle. And Sam tries that, and you like, don't do that, Sam.
Yeah,
Don't
Sam needs to
don't
just do his job.
just do your job, Sam.
Yeah,
Just
Sam
just
needs to
play.
do
But you look at guys like Solomon Thomas. I mean, Solomon Thomas is a slippery player. So all of a sudden, they're the Commanders really struggled up front. With Sam Cosmi back in the game. Back in had not played the whole season and coming back from injury. Sam Cosmi was a minus player for the Commanders at guard. And they took advantage of that. We know what Tyler Biadasz is. He can't get to the second level. So you can't get those blocks. He can't sometimes get all the way to the outside to get a wide technique. It's kind of like watching Brock Hoffman play at times. It's sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's good, and then other times you're like going, "What the hell?" They had some problems that Carolina game, as we mentioned, run the football because of some of the offensive line stuff that Dallas was dealing with. But I think really that the Commanders had the same issue. Dallas put a lot of pressure, and Dallas's offense put a lot of pressure on the Commanders' offense because of the way the score was going. You get that when you got that touchdown right before half, Commanders had some hope. They had some hope that, okay, hey, we're back into this thing. And then you turn around, you took a sack, you called a timeout, which the previous regime would have never done. They'd just let the clock run out, and then you would have been at half. But no, what they do, he called a timeout, he launches a bomb, Pickens makes a great play, then you get a huge run, and then you get a touchdown to Ferguson. So I mean, that's how you destroy somebody's will to compete in a game. And the Cowboys did a really nice job of that.
Do you think that George Pickens continued to be everything that he hoped that they would be and then some? Do you think that makes it more likely he's here or less likely that he's here? His agent's David Mulugeta, the same one that Jerry didn't want to deal with Micah.
We talked about this yesterday, but we talked about in the trade. How about this, Jeff? We talked about trading CeeDee Lamb.
You guys need to stop. I don't even think that's. I'd have to look at salary cap stuff. I don't even think that's possible.
But I talked to 2 teams in the league. So what they asked, what would you get for CeeDee Lamb? Just playing radio?
A 1 and a 2.
No, you would get one of the teams thought you could maybe get a Micah type deal for CeeDee Lamb. And the reason they said it was because he's already being paid the contract. So he's already being paid. And so you know what you're getting out of that. You've already, the contract is what it is. So you just accept the contract. You don't have to worry about adjusting it or anything like that.
Okay, Brian, can I just stop you and ask you a question?
Yeah, we were just playing radio yesterday, but
why is your answer being great to get rid of one of the best players? That's what Jerry did.
But it's the thought of is Pickens showing you? Well, let's be honest too. And man, I didn't even want to say the word hurt, injured.
Oh,
doesn't happen to Pickens. It doesn't happen to him.
That's crazy talk. It's the NFL. It can happen to him next week.
Okay, but I'm just saying though, if you look at his career, So anyway, but if you were to, if you were to have to say, okay, we'll sign this guy, is Pickens more of a player for you than maybe Lamb could be, or are they very equal? I mean, personally, I think they're very equal with the way they are. But we were just having talk, I mean, if you were just to look at both players, which one would you take right now?
Oh, I'd take CeeDee Lamb. I would, and I'm very comfortable with that. Okay. Yeah, I think CeeDee Lamb is every down, every distance, every route. But I do think that George Pickens has been even better than I thought he would be. And I think
all George Pickens needed was a quarterback and a competent play caller.
Yeah,
that's what George Pickens needed.
Yeah. But I would love to encourage this front office. When you have the really good players, those are the ones to pay. You don't have to go sprint to the contract table to lock up Jake Ferguson. Of course you can lock up Jake Ferguson. He doesn't have a market. And yes, Osa took a discount. That's great. Osa's okay. Like when you have the really good players.
Are you faulting them for signing players?
Yeah, I think they're really bad at contract stuff. Like I think the biggest problem with the organization, and you can overcome it, is I don't think Jerry's involved in all that much because Jerry doesn't know most of the guys on the roster, right? Jerry has nothing to do with most of the guys that they sign because he's never seen them play and he doesn't know their names. But the ones that he does know their names, those are the ones they F up. And it's the only ones he's involved in. Dak shouldn't be a $60 million a year player. He is because of the way you handled the contract. The CeeDee thing, you waited and it hurt your ability in a season. You could have done it. You could have done it a year before, whatever. Now Micah Parsons, you got mad at and traded your defensive staff. This was not a unanimous decision that your coaching staff was on board with. Matt Eberflus would punch you in the face if he wasn't super thankful that Jerry Jones hired him, not Brian Schottenheimer. Like Jerry's involved in very few of these things, and the things he's involved in are the ones they screw up. And so I think that sucks. And I think when you have a guy like George Pickens, and it could get tough because you are dealing with probably the toughest agent in the NFL to get a deal done with.
Oh, sure you are. Yeah. This is a $35 million a year player right now.
And that is going to be the hard part because that's talking more than CeeDee Lamb makes. And you're like, what? But I don't like their answer to we're struggling to get a deal done with our best players is to go grab their middle of the roster players and pay them really good player money. But that's what they do. Zeke's in Cabo. We signed Lyle Collins and I don't even remember. But like that's what they do. When they're struggling to sign somebody, they just sign other guys that are easy to sign because a lot of times they're guys that a lot of teams would be like, yeah, we're going to find a way to replace this guy because we can replace this $12 to $20 million that we're about to give him with a second or third round draft pick. You cannot replace Micah Parsons. You cannot replace CeeDee Lamb. And if you let Pickens go, you will.
Well, you
not
did.
replace
No,
CeeDee.
you did. You replaced for 3 games. You replaced CeeDee Lamb.
Sure. Try it for 17.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Jeff. Come on, Jeff.
Try it. What do you mean, come on, Jeff? It's CeeDee Lamb, dude.
Dude, okay? It's a terrible. It's a terrible question. It's a terrible question to ask you. It's a terrible question to ask you. It's a terrible question.
What?
It's because you're blinded. You're blinded by CeeDee Lamb, and it's fine. It's fine.
Can I ask you why would I be blinded by CeeDee Lamb?
You have your whole career. You have been blinded. I mean, blinded in a way that you don't see any, like, it's CeeDee Lamb, folks. It's CeeDee Lamb. Damn it! Why are you asking me these questions?
Right, he's an all-pro.
No, and I understand, but like I said, George Pickens did replace him for 3 games. At a very high level. Yeah, so the player can be replaced.
But that's like saying, well, Ryan Flanoy did it for a week. Like, what are we doing? You're talking about it's 1,700-yard receiver and a guy that we're really excited
I'm just saying, you replaced him for 3 weeks. You worried about this thing falling off the cliff, and actually, you probably got some better play.
Oh, see, you're a crazy person.
I'm not. No, I'm not a crazy. No, I'm not a crazy person.
Okay,
Jeff.
say it. You think this offense would be better without CeeDee Lamb? Go for it.
It was for 3 weeks. It was.
So you think the offense would be better without CeeDee Lamb?
He had one big play in the game the other day. He had one.
What are you?
I'm just saying it's hard to discuss this with you because and I say this in respect. It's hard to discuss this because you have CeeDee Lamb here, and you will not allow the discussion about it. And I respect that. I respect that. I do. But for 3 weeks, you could just say that this team did not completely fall apart offensively when he was off the field.
No, they didn't.
It didn't.
No,
it didn't.
The
quarterback's been, the quarterback's good. Well, but you and I are having this discussion about that you don't feel like that George Pickens could maintain and play at this level like a CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, I think George Pickens could play really well. I don't understand. I would just, and I guess it is just playing radio. Like the idea that you would in any way be better off.
No. I'm saying that you have found a CeeDee Lamb compliment,
right.
So that's very similar to CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, you found a dream come true, and your priority should be to keep the dream alive.
But they'll tell you that they probably won't be able to do it. Tag the guy and see what happens.
Shit is the problem. And the only thing that I can't do is let them get away with that bullshit over and over. Jerry Jones just told you he couldn't pay Micah Parsons $47 million. That was bullshit. And now that he didn't, and he traded you, and we got all these draft picks, and draft picks play for even cheaper. And you told me, now that I got this $47 million, you just told me George Pickens is going to get 35. That sounds pretty ezy. And I still got $12 million for the defense, plus all these draft picks. Do not let the Jones family be cheap. They are billionaires.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
Billionaires.
They're billionaires because everybody in the National Football League that owns a team is a billionaire, Jeff.
Right.
Everybody that owns a team.
Don't let them get away with it.
If you want to get after them, about the way they manage their cap, feel free.
Yeah.
Don't call it. I mean, if you want to call it poor cap management, all day, go ahead.
No, I'll call it cheap. I'll call it NFL cheap because it's the way they intentionally do it. And I could back it off and be nice.
Is their quarterback playing like a $60 million quarterback right now for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I agree with you. They could have done this deal 4 or 5 years ago. I agree with you on that. But it's kind of looking like the quarterback's living up to his contract.
Yeah, he always would. What are you talking about? They're the ones who didn't believe in him. I did.
They gave him the money.
I don't know what that's a counter to.
They gave him money. They gave him the money. They obviously believed in something.
Yes, they gave him the money because this is the way that they do things. If it is their player and he has to be here for them to be relevant, be competitive. They will eventually lose a negotiation and give him all of his money after having to give him more than they should have. When it comes to outside players, their favorite thing to do, you traded for George Pickens, and he's everything you dreamed of. If he's not here next year, it's because they chose that, because they would rather fill up their salary cap with Kenneth Murray's and Kaiir Elam's, who do not require a big check. They just fill the cap space for that 1 year. And they choose to, I will stay instead of cheap, because cheap sounds like I'm being mean to them. But you'll notice the Bengals are kind of the same way, because they're the family-run ones, and they got.
There's a lot of family-run. There's some family-run teams here. There's no question about that.
Instead of cheap, I will say they opt to be one of the least aggressive teams in terms of, we could pay for this later. The teams who want to win the Super Bowl, move that money, bring me a Pro Bowler, sign that guy, give him $30 million, because we're just going to move it, and we're going to try to win the Super Bowl. The Cowboys try to keep the cleanest sheet. Jerry Jones will tell you about dead money. I think it was last year when he was talking about, I'm still writing checks. We still got some dead money. And they had like the 24th most dead money in the league. The Eagles had 80 million in dead money while they were winning the Super Bowl, number one in the league. And Jerry was complaining about the little bit of dead money they had on their books. They are very conservative in their talent acquisition and salary cap management. I'll say it that way. But don't
you called him cheap. You called him cheap. You called him cheap.
They are cheap. Don't let them. But you seemed like you didn't like it, and so I was like, okay, I'll
man. Yeah, you could. I'm not. I'm just saying the only discussion I'm having is that, and I fully appreciate George Pickens. I really, really do. But the thing about it is, like I said, my discussion is, I think you found a player very similar to CeeDee Lamb, and if you had to have one or the other, I think you'd be okay. That's all I was saying.
Yeah, I bet you'd have an okay offense. You might have a good offense. Yeah. My theory is, if I have great players, I'm keeping every one of them, and I'm looking for more of them. I'm not looking. You
signing Williams, the running back?
I could go either way on that.
I'd say he's playing pretty great for you right now.
I think he's playing good football. You could talk me into it, because running backs don't make any money. Like, we're going to have a $300 million cap next year. He's going to make 8 to 10.
Okay, we're going to spend say we spend $45 million on 2 players next year. 2 players
that are going to be free agents on this team.
Yeah.
Pickens first, because that's where the Cowboys make.
No. It's going to be. I'm saying you're going to spend $45 million likely on 2 players, Pickens and Williams, if that's what you want to do.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
$10 million
for the Joneses tell you they can't. They can easily do that and sign a Pro Bowler. They can do all of it. They can do this. It's not hard. They choose not to, and then they convince people.
They like to sign their own. That's big for them.
I'd be fine with signing Javonte.
They didn't want to sign. They didn't want to sign Micah because they didn't like Micah off field, and Micah in hanging around and not being interested in doing what they want him to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think they didn't sign Micah because Jerry had his feelings hurt because he wanted to make a deal like it was 1947, and Micah was buying.
Come on, Jeff. You work with guys that'll tell you everything about Micah Parsons.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what got him mad.
It ain't the Boy Scouts. Micah Parsons just won a game for Green Bay. And you had a good defense when Micah was on your team, and you have a really bad one without him, and it's just one guy. Keep your best players. Keep your best. Jerry actively seeked out Charles Haley when all he wanted to do was win.
Oh no, there's no question about that.
He went and got him.
If signing Micah would have eliminated you from signing Pickens,
I would choose Micah over Pickens.
Okay.
Yeah, I would choose Micah over Pickens.
Because you have CeeDee Lamb, right?
Yeah. But I want them all. I want them all. I want all the good players. Dro knows, are the Jeffrey Simmons rumors true? If so, are we switching to a 3-4? I didn't know there were Jeffrey Simmons rumors. And a 3-4. Who's playing the nose tackle on this team?
Well, they probably play Kenny Clark maybe there or JT. Yeah.
And JT and Mozzie just get to keep switching out who plays each week because neither one's very good. So they're like, all right, next guy up. Yeah. Dirk said a few bucks for you guys to keep fighting while I grab some popcorn. Don't you stop trying to get rid of my good players.
I don't, I don't like to say, just keep fighting the good fight,
They've been hunting for a real good guy opposite CeeDee since year 2 of Gallup. We got him, and it's like, all right, how can we screw this up? And keep them both. Otherwise, we got to go spend a first round or second round pick on a wide receiver when we need 78 picks on this defense. Y'all stop
Ted McMillan would have been pretty good here.
He would have been. Would he be better than Pickens?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But Ted McMillan is a pretty good player.
Ibuka would have been good too. Alex in the super chat, they need to keep both. You're not winning with a good offense and an average defense. One part of your team has to be elite. Well,
I disagree with him. I totally disagree with him.
Side of the ball wins anything in the NFL.
I totally disagree with him on that one. You would kill for this defense just to be average right now.
If this defense was average, then you'd have a chance to do something. If you get to the end of the year and your defense is 30th, you ain't winning squat because no one.
What did Kansas City do that one year under Bob Sutton? Didn't they get to a Super Bowl with like a terrible defense? But
I don't know. I mean,
it was like early Mahomes. Like early maybe. Mahomes.
They might have
Mahomes with it's before they got the Steve Spagnuolo. They Bob Sutton, I think, was their defensive coordinator, and they were not 30th. They were near it. They weren't very good.
Because their last one that they won was actually with a better defense than offense. It's going to be real rare to find a team. Like the reason the Eagles are good, their quarterback's not even good. They're just good at everything. And that's you're not going to have team. Jerry can tell you parity, but everybody's not first and 32nd or 16th and 16th. We're going to get to the postseason. You're going to look it up and you're going to be like, oh, wow, they're the 3rd best offense and the 9th best defense. Oh, they're the 2nd best defense and the 11th best offense. Yeah, they're good. You can't be terrible at something and win in the NFL. I like that Donald yelled at you for me. That's good. Donald's on Team Jeffrey. I'm going to get you a hat that says Team Jeffrey. BB, this isn't the radio. You didn't have to force it. CeeDee is a top 3 to 5 wide receiver in the league.
Man, I mean, what's the guy's name? Donald? Is that his name?
Let me double check. Yeah, it's Donald. Don, if you want. You could Don him if you want.
Yeah. Don, thanks for listening. Kind of like radio. Kind of like the new form of radio, if you want to be honest with you.
Yes, it is, indeed.
Kind of where you don't have to listen to 5 hours of this. You could listen to like 30 minutes of this. So
yeah, we could just knock out
in a tiny way, Don. Tiny way, Don.
Yeah.
This is radio.
And it's a way that you could actually knock out everything you have to say about the Cowboys in 30 minutes or an hour or whatever, instead of being in a room for 5 hours and trying to figure out how to fill it.
That's true.
KG's in the super chat. Odds that Jerry trades for proven defensive help, and if so, who? I mean, I just told you I want to keep Pickens and Lamb. Well, I don't have to say and Lamb. That's a Broaddus thing. There's CeeDee Lamb's like.
No, we're just having radio talk. Just radio.
Yeah, talk. I want Max Crosby because I think if Jerry wants to spin that he actually won a trade, then what you need to do is you need to replace the player you lost that destroyed your entire defense. And then you could say, I got a guy like Micah. He makes less money. I still have one of the first round picks that I traded that we got for Micah. You've got me.
To get Crosby, will you be willing to give up probably your pick will be the lower or actually the higher? Yeah. Higher of the.
Yeah, I would do that. I'd still sign Pickens. And now we're going to have to start being cheap after that. Start being cheap after that.
I'm not against signing Pickens. I thought it was interesting now that you finally do have a guy that if you had to make a choice of one or the other, and again, it's a difficult discussion with you because your love for CeeDee Lamb all these years.
I want you to play a game. I want you to ask every football person you know that you run across that.
Oh,
question.
I did. I asked my gang of 7.
One.
I did. I got a guy tell me that you give up 2 1s, and I got a guy tell me you give up a 1 plus another player.
No.
Pick.
You're saying which player is better. Go ahead and run that question around and let me know if I'm crazy.
All right, I will. I'll ask. Okay. I'll ask that question. I'm going to ask my guys. Who would you rather have, George Pickens or CeeDee Lamb?
I'm really comfortable with you asking that question. Let me know if you get a vote. Let me know if you get a vote.
The fact that the fact that guys answered me back that you could probably trade him I think that tells you a little something.
What'd you say they could trade Pickens for? You just said you get 2 1s for CeeDee. I think that answers your question.
That was a team.
Josh is in the super chat. It's not just about numbers and catches, Brian. The attention CeeDee and Pickens helped take away from the other defensively helps them both. We like having them both. We're just having fun, just having a little chat. Eagles pay the running back $20 million, 2 receivers $30+ million, the quarterback $50 million. The Cowboys can sign Pickens. Don't let Pickens out the door. Draft picks go to D. C Black knows. It's a matter of how you want to run your team and how you want to handle the salary cap. And the Cowboys choose to do it a certain way, and they choose to tell you they have.
You looked at those numbers. You looked at the numbers for how those contracts are for Philadelphia for those guys?
Yeah, 2029, they're going to have about $200 million in void money. Yeah. And they're going to hold up a Lombardi. Like they did it. They won it. Jerry would rather never have a year where it might hurt and a Lombardi. He said he would. He's full of shit. Because that's
I'd love somebody to clip this and play it for him.
That's the check you write to win a Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
Then you would feel like I do when I get shit clipped all the time about me.
I don't mind. I told people.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
I don't know how.
Nobody wants to be called out like that, but you said it. Good for you.
I don't mind. Oh, I don't mind calling Jerry Jones out. I think he's the biggest detriment in this organization. As an owner, he's a massive asset. The ego that forces him to want to be the big decision maker in football is the hardest thing they have to overcome. That's tough. And I hope they can do it. It's not impossible. I hope they can do it. I forgot where I was going. Oh yeah. And I don't know how I ended up in this very lucky position. Like, I don't have to go out there. Jerry ain't going to dress me down. I don't go out to the Star. I don't go to the games.
Coward.
I sit here and talk.
Coward.
No, I wouldn't mind it. I'd like,
Coward.
You said this about me, and I'd be like, I did.
Coward.
Now what are we? What am I going out there for? I don't have a credential anyway.
The guys you work with have credentials. Like you couldn't get one.
Clarence
I hear Clarence all the time. Clarence Hill, DLLS football, Cowboys football. I hear that question every day. Come on,
he's the one who has to deal with me, Hammer, and Jerry. It's like, boy, it's like y'all are being, and he's like, what do you mean y'all? I'm like, well, Jerry gave me 2 beers. Jerry doesn't know who I am. It doesn't matter.
Jerry knows who you are. He gave you a beer on the bus at the combine, man. Come on.
2 years in a row. Yeah. All right, Brian, have a great day. Everybody follow Crown Global Media, even if Brian is actively trying to destroy your team by taking away all of its best players.
No, man, just hey, you know what? We're doing content, kids. Doing content. You can listen to other crap all you want, but we're just doing content here. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Peace out, everybody.